Chapter 7. Gabe stood at the message board where there were lots of notices posted, like a bag found, or an apartment wanted, or special discounts on tango classes, and things like that. It was in the big sports center, even though he was naturally very muscular and didn't need sport activities to make his body look better. He was just there because aerobics class was getting out. All these incredible-looking women in spandex and sweatbands were going into the showers and then going home. Only a lot of them didn't go home, but started standing at the message board pretending to be interested in the notices so that they could be noticed by Gabe. One kept tracing her finger along a notice for a lost red, open, fur-covered purse. She tapped the phone number there and locked eyes with Gabe. Another woman was right behind him and stretched her back until one of her adequate mammaries brushed up against Gabe's masculine shoulder. She was looking straight ahead at this notice for oil massages, and the picture of the massager on the notice you could totally tell was her. Then the ravishing instructor came out and posted this ad about her teaching a one-on-one course of this special type of yoga where you did it naked in the sauna. She posted it right in front of Gabe's face. Gabe had to walk around the facility for a while to shake some of them off, so he could only be with one at a time. They followed him into the reception area, into that big room where they had the basketball baskets, and into the place where all the people paid the cashier then ate, but a lot of them didn't have any gluten on what was on their trays. Gabe even thought about going into the men's room at one point, but then he realized that might make them think he had to go number 2, which would probably turn most of them off. And the ones it turned on he didn't want to have anything to do with. He went into the men's locker room, where he knew there was a back way. He kept all his clothes on and quickly walked past the lockers, where all the guys were gone anyway, so he didn't have to accidentally see anything. Gabe went through the back door, and the only woman in the group who also knew the layout of the building was there, the ravishing aerobics instructor named Natasha. They did it in the sauna, where they laid a towel down on the bench so it wasn't gross from the other people that were sitting there before. A pool of moisture collected at their feet as the moisture ran down their bodies like a million tiny rivers of moisture. You couldn't tell if they were sweating from the doing it, from the heat collecting steam all over their bodies, or if they were crying from joy and ecstasy. But it definitely wasn't either of them peeing. Somewhere in a cold and lonely hallway downstairs, a janitor that never got laid looked up to the metal ventilation tube things along the ceiling, where he could hear echoes of immense pleasure. The sounds of fantastic passion were so loud it was like they were just on the other side of the thin metal, even though the janitor knew they weren't, because they would have to be tiny midgets for that to be possible, and these were the sounds of normal-sized people. Then, like a carpenter with a bad back who lets his hot sister talk him into going to a chiropractor, and the amazingly sexy girl chiropractor cracks all of his vertebrae perfectly into place, there was an explosion of vocal relief from Gabe. Then at the same time, there was this auditory explosive moan from Natasha too, even though aerobics instructors never have bad backs. The janitor squirted soap onto his sponge, then cried softly while he watched it soak in because to this day, no one had ever answered his Craigslist ad.